everybody. Welcome. On behalf of Green America and Global Exchange, welcome to the 6th Chicago Green Festival. The festival is the nation's premier sustainability event and is now in its 11th year. Green Festival is special because it is a non-profit event produced in partnership with Green America, a green economy organization, and Global Exchange, a human rights organization. I encourage you to stop by both of our booths and say hello and join the organization. And a reminder, Green Festival exhibitors are screened for their social and environmental practices by the Green Business Network at Green America, so you can feel great about supporting them. Many thanks to our nearly 1,000 volunteers and speakers that donate their time to making this a great event, and to the Chicago Green Festival host community. We couldn't do it without you. Welcome to the Good Food stage. Kat Perry will be presenting now how to make simple vegan cheeses. Kat Perry is the owner of Kat's Hot Cakes, a vegan snack food company based out of Richmond, Michigan. While she's been a vegetarian for most of her life, Kat became a vegan 4 years ago. Suddenly, her lifelong allergies and digestive issues were all but cured. Going vegan changed her life in such a positive way, she decided to make it her mission to share her experience and her recipes with as many people as she possibly could. In March of 2011, she moved home to the shores of southwestern Michigan and started Kat's Hot Cakes. Kat is almost entirely self-taught, and her passion for veganism, culinary arts, and living a full life come through in her dishes. She has learned most of what she knows from trial and error, the women in her life, and of course, Martha Stewart. Welcome, Kat.
Thanks so much, you guys. Yes, I do. Actually, there's a table in the back that has all the recipes. In here? Okay, great. Thank you so much for coming. I'm sorry, it's a little awkward having this thing on my head, so just trying to get used to it. So today I'm going to show you guys how to make two of my favorite recipes. I am a recovered cheese addict, and so as soon as I became vegan, I really wanted to learn how to make some creamy substitutes that are plant-based that I could use in some of my favorite dishes. So the first thing I'm going to show you how to make is a raw cashew spread. And this is what it looks like when it's done. You can use this as just a dip. I am not going to lie, I have definitely taken spoonfuls of this stuff before. You can also use it, I use it mostly in stuffed shells. I make these giant jumbo shells and stuff them with that, and then you can make like a nice baked dish. You can also use it as a snack spread, a sandwich spread. You can add way more basil to it and have pesto, or a lot of times I turn it into a creamy cashew sauce by adding rice milk, lemon juice, and some other herbs and spices like dried mustard seed and things like that. It's really easy. Everything that I make, I try to have it take 30 minutes or less start to finish. I'm a very busy woman, as I'm sure most of you guys are, so one of the things that I want to do is teach people how eating a plant-based diet can actually be really simple as well as delicious. So we're going to start out with some raw cashews, which I have soaking in water. This is 1 cup of cashews. And, sorry, I'm like losing my head here. I put these in water a couple hours ago, but you really only have to soak them for about 30 minutes. And we're going to drain off most of the water here. I'm going to keep some of it because I want to avoid using a lot of oil. If you're going to make a pasta sauce, then you want to keep more water. So it's not much. And then we're just going to put this in a food processor. You really do need a food processor for this recipe. It doesn't work well in a blender. I tried it the other day and it was like all the cashews on the bottom got really creamy and everything else was still chunky. So just add that into our food processor. And then I'm going to put some fresh parsley. This is a 4th cup fresh parsley. You don't need quite as much if you use dried herbs. And you can play around with it. I'm a big advocate of experimenting in the kitchen and improvising. I very rarely even follow a recipe. In fact, if you were here a few minutes ago, you saw me scrambling around to try to find the recipe for this so that I didn't like say the wrong thing, because I of chopped fresh basil. And like I said, if you're going to make pesto, you probably want to use about 4 cups fresh basil. And you can use dried. Right now it's kind of hard to get fresh basil. It's expensive. So you can use dried basil if you want instead. And that's what I use most of the time in the winter. And here we have our spices. This is nutritional yeast. It's a 4th cup nutritional yeast. If you are new to vegan cooking, you probably haven't heard of nutritional yeast, but it is amazing. I use it in almost every creamy sauce that I make. It is B12 vitamin flakes, but it also is like seasoned sort of like Parmesan cheese, so it's really nice. And I also have some dried onion, some sea salt, and thyme in here as well. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of grapeseed oil. I'm going to use about a half a tablespoon of grapeseed oil. And we're going to add 4 cloves of garlic. You can do this to taste, so if you want a little bit more garlic, feel free. So the only real prior planning for this recipe is soaking the cashews. So it's not too major. Like I said, I'm all about making cooking as easy and healthy as possible, so if anything is too complicated, I'm probably not going to make it. And then you just turn on your food processor. Pretty much done. You're going to want to just kind of go around the edges a little bit here. Turn it on again for a couple more minutes. Just want to be sure to scrape the sides fairly often. And then, like I said, it just depends on what you're using it for, how creamy you want it. And since we're making the spread, we're going to make this pretty creamy. So if you use dried basil, it's not going to be as green, it's going to be whiter looking. And then of course you can throw this in like a tomato sauce. I like to make spicy tomato sauce out of this a lot of times. So you make your marinara sauce and you throw in some crushed red pepper flakes and then you add this and it's sort of like a creamy tomato sauce. But it's totally cholesterol free and 100% plant-based. It's not going to block you up like cheese will. So we're done. So it's really easy. And I'm going to dump out this water so you guys, I think we have samples for you guys, so I think it's going to help me put away. So we'll just scrape off our plate here. Guys, do you want me to serve those up? And that's it. So it's really easy. And you'll see it's very rich because of the cashews. Alright. So that's the cashew spread. I have gloves too. Do you want some? Alright. One down, one to go. So the next thing we're going to make is tofu ricotta. And I have to confess that I definitely somewhat hijacked this recipe. Someone gave me a tofu ricotta recipe when I first became vegan. And I've modified it a little bit. But it's just a really good go-to. You can actually just eat it as a snack as well, because it's just like spinach and onions and garlic, and it's really tasty. So, what I'm going to do first here is heat up my skillet, I think, yeah. Trying to figure out how to plug this. want to use the wet tofu. And what I usually do is just like cut around the edge, dump out the water, and then I'm not a big paper towel user. I try to avoid paper towels, but it is nice to have your tofu soak on a paper towel for a little bit just to kind of drain off the moisture so it's not soggy. And then you're going to wash your hands really well, or gloves, and we're going to crumble the tofu just with our hands. I like to keep it kind of chunky, but you can make it more fine if that's how you want to do it. So the tofu is ready to go, and the skillet is probably warm enough now. So I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of grapeseed oil. And grapeseed oil is really great for frying. Stuff like that, so that's why I'm using that. And I have a half of a yellow onion here, all ready to go, chopped up. This isn't quite warm enough. You want to make sure your skillet is nice and warm. So, this is 2 cups fresh spinach, really finely chopped. If you don't have fresh spinach, you can use frozen. And you just want to take like just 1 12-ounce package of spinach, and you want to squeeze out, thaw it obviously, and then you want to squeeze out all the moisture. So otherwise it gets really soggy. I'm used to cooking with a gas stove, so this electric burner is taking a little bit longer to warm up. For a little bit until it's close to being translucent, and then we're going to add the garlic. But we're going to do like some of our garlic we're going to saute, and some of it we're just going to put fresh right in here. So I'm going to put 2 cloves, the equivalent of 2 cloves of garlic in here, just raw and uncooked. And then the other ingredients, again, nutritional yeast, and I use nutritional yeast, I already mentioned it before, but I use it all the time. It is such a good staple. And if you're going to do any kind of like a baked vegan dish, it's really nice to sprinkle on top to make sort of a crust. And the other key ingredients to this are cornflake breadcrumbs, which you can get in any grocery store. So for the cornflake breadcrumbs, the reason I use those is because it's actually really hard to find vegan breadcrumbs. A lot of breads have dehydrated milk in them or eggs, so I just went with the cornflake and I use them a lot, and it's also really nice for making a crust. And then this also has some oregano, sea salt, and black pepper. And then we're going to do 2 tablespoons olive oil to add some richness, and I think that's important right here. Heating up. I think something's wrong with the burner. It's not even hot. Excuse me, we're having a little technical difficulty. It's like not even up. So we're about to have a good lesson in how to improvise in the kitchen, which is perfect because I have to improvise in the kitchen all the time. Oh. Okay. I thought you were going to have to eat raw onions for a second. This won't kill you, but... So, basically, the most complicated part of this is sauteing an onion. The rest of the ingredients are ready to go. So some uses for the tofu ricotta, again, the stuffed shells, you can make it, it's a little bit lighter, so you could use this to do the stuffed shells. I use this to make vegan lasagna a lot. As I said before, you can just use it as a snack. The other thing that it's really nice for is as a pizza topping. So those are the main uses that I do for the tofu ricotta. To go back to the cashew, one thing I wanted to mention about the raw cashews, you can get where I buy them is at a health food store, so you can buy raw cashews at pretty much any health food store. I know Chicago Health and the Gold Coast has them, so if you're wondering where to get some of these ingredients. And the same thing with nutritional yeast, you should be able to find that at any health food store. So while we're sauteing our onions, do you guys have any questions? Yes. Yeah. No, you don't do that. Thank you for, that's a good question. She asked if the cashews were just plain raw or if they were salted or anything. And you do want to make sure that you buy the raw cashews unsalted. Yes.
How long can you keep it in the refrigerator?
The cashew spread? Like a week, a little bit longer, probably a week and a half. So it's just the fresh ingredients you just want to watch. If you can keep it around that long. I usually eat it way before that, yeah.
Like rapeseed oil, not the
Well, for rapeseed oil, it is good for frying, so that's why I'm cooking this in it. It does have some other health benefits, and also doesn't have as strong of a flavor as olive oil, so in certain things I try to use it. Baking, pan frying, stuff like that, I usually go for grapeseed oil. Coconut oil, again, has a strong flavor. It is good for frying. I use coconut oil a lot for making cookies. Something that is going to have like a little bit, more coconut flavor. But pan frying you can also use it for. It's higher in saturated fat, though, than the oils that we're using. Other questions? Sorry, you guys, this is like a super slow burner. Gas stoves are way better. We're at home for cooking. What's that? I'm really partial to gas. I just find it a lot easier to adjust the temperature that you're cooking with. In fact, a lot of times when I do like portable cooking stuff, I take like a propane burner. But I don't know, this is just not cooking. So I feel kind of bad because I want you guys to try this. Maybe we can start sampling this one out already made. So in the back, I think you guys all got the recipes that we're making right now, but in the back there's also some vegan baking tips. There's a recipe for an apricot bread, and there's a whole list of what I consider my vegan pantry essentials and vegan refrigerator essentials, things that you should always keep around. So those are in the back on a table. Up here I have an email list. I send out, every other week pretty much, I send out an email blast talking about different events that my company Cat's Hot Cakes is doing, where we're having free tastings, and also I share recipes and some other experiences that I have. So if you want to sign up for that, it's up here. We can pass it around. And oh, I hear cooking happening. Yay! The onion is finally sauteing. We've got onions frying. I'm also a really messy cook. I have a bunch of videos on my website, how-to cooking videos, that I just shoot in my kitchen, and there's videos of me opening powdered sugar and it flying everywhere, and I'm definitely a messy cook. I love Martha Stewart. She would not be proud of the messes that I make in my kitchen, but I figure if you're not making a mess, then you're probably not having that much fun, so. This is coming along, and then we're just going to add the rest of this garlic. And I almost never buy, this is the pre-chopped, I almost never buy it that way. I like to just use a garlic press or just chop it, because I don't mind big chunks of garlic, but I didn't know if you guys would be into that, so. So it's really simple, again, just minutes. If you can get your, cooking surface, properly. you guys are into vegan baking or baked goods, I'm going to be doing a free sample tasting at Chicago Health Foods on West Maple in the Gold Coast next Saturday from 1 to 4. You can come by and check it out. They have a nice juice bar there.
Really good desserts
as well. I think there's going to be some other natural food vendors there next Saturday too. So we're almost done here. And then I'm gonna put my gloves back on, or a zipper pair, and we're gonna toss this. You can use a spoon, but I really think that clean hands are the best thing to use. And that's it. We're done. Very simple. Easy and delicious. What happened to those? Well, one. And then you just toss it. And that's that. Even toss this right into pasta. I also
guys are on my movie now.
I said
you guys are on my movie now.
On my website, catstalkcakes.com. And you can just make walnut browns. That's your, meat substitute, and it's really good. Those tossed into the pasta with this as well. And you got a nice dish. All right, that's it. Really easy. It doesn't have to be complicated to make really healthy food that's delicious. So that's one of my missions in life, is to show people. When I first became vegan, my brother said to me, I would make a lot more vegetarian food if it wasn't so complicated. And I was like, hold on. I get home from work at 8:30 p.m. and I never want to spend longer than 30 minutes making dinner. So, it doesn't have to be hard. If you have any questions, let me know. Again, my website is catstalkcakes.com, and I'm happy to answer any questions, share my experiences. I have a bunch of downloadable PDF recipes, complete menus, and all kinds of stuff on my website, as well as cooking videos. So please check it out. You get a glimpse right into my home kitchen. So thanks so much for taking the time to come and watch this. Have a great day, you guys.